So yeah, previously uh, we found an issue on how to redirect from one controller to any other's page. And yeah, after click through for a while, I found Liferay update the command from the old MVC parts into the MVC render command name. I think this is a key. uh, Actually this key are based on the render for thank you, this one MVC command name is thank you. Then we need to follow exactly with this pattern: MVC render command name, and the ID will be thank you. So if we use this way, actually after we save, then it will be redirect to the thank you page. Okay. Beside the redirection, I put one more things here, which is the success message. If this success to be stored inside the screen, inside the database, then I will pass the success message from controller into the GSP, into the view. If the save are fail, for example, we can put the error message. For example, I surround this with try catch block. So if success, then I put the success message. Then if fail, I put error. Fail to store. The log will be available only in the log console, but sometimes we need to display the message inside the screen, so we can put the error message, session error, put the request and we put the key. For example, fail to store. So this is the key of the error message. I have create one. This is for the success message. So put this key later need to be displayed on the UI screen. So we register this key into the thank you GSP. The previous one is for the success. I create another one, Liferay UI error. As usual, for any label that's not yet translated, then it will be have like warning. So okay, to translate this, then we put on the language properties inside content. After we add into the language, it will be no more error. this thank you page, there will be a, a, a thank you message and back button. Then we check for others. Submit should be. So some of the key maybe already have inside the language properties. That's why it is a little bit important for developers to understand this sign. If still have yellow sign, means don't have inside language. So actually this mechanism is quite useful for developers to not create duplicate key with different message. Message. Okay, I think it's quite good now. When we do deploy, when we wait for the deployment, it started already. Okay, we add more record. And we do submit. It will go to the thank you page with yeah. Now the redirection is correct. We are in thank you page. Yes, this is the controller, and let's back to registration. It's back to registration again. The message
within the portlet itself, right?
Yeah, within the portlet itself. So since we are using SPA, so the back button also quite fast.
Okay.
So this is all the all the record. Now remember that previously we have a finder, how we put our custom code inside the surface layer. So since we are using the reservation, let's check on the reservation. I want to create the finder based on, okay, we have a search based on age, right? But how we can get only people with a certain age, for example. Of course, we can get some search from the UI, but I think at this time we just make it simple. So inside the render, instead, okay, registration portlet default one. Instead of search the whole record, I comment this, and then I copy to the new one. I put some comment. Set only member with age equal to 32, for example. There's few record using which age is 32, but the thing is that there is no function when we can put the parameter is 32. No, not available yet. So how we will achieve this? Then we need to go into the surface layer registration service. If we want to modify anything, we must need to remember that our codes must be inside the service local, the IMPL, inside the IMPL. If you want to put something in the service main, will be inside the local service IMPL or remote service IMPL. So in this case, I create a new function. With the return is array list of reservation get reserved by age, with the parameter will be integer age and group ID long. Sorry, only age. Based on the XML, we put only age. Okay. Some exceptions. So we create new function here. Okay. We put some log also. Log info service MTL. Then since we have some return here, we need to create the return. For example, the return will be object list, and we need to define here reservation persistent find by it. So actually, when we generate service XML, the finder is already created by Liferay. So if we take a look this code, find by age is already available, but the one that not yet available is for the service function. So when I set this one age, then yeah, it's mostly done. So this is how we create additional function inside service layer. We create a method or function inside this IMPL, and we don't need to create the others part. After we create this new function, by default this new function is not able to be called from the main controller first. If we check here inside the registration portlet, we cannot get reservation by age, not yet. So how to make it work? We need to rebuild our service. Reservation service. Okay. So the reason is just now we create the function only inside the implementation. If we refer to the previous drawing, whenever we create any code inside this IMPL, the interface is not yet updated. So how to make the interface update? Then we need to rebuild using build service. Okay, it's okay to have errors first. So we can monitor also inside the console. already updated. How to check? We just create the code inside the reservation local service IMPL with the name of the function will be get reserved by age. So we try interface. The interface will be reservation, same name, reservation local service util. Yeah. Get reserved by age. Now we have get reserved by age because previously they don't have it. So this is auto generate from our IMPL class by build the service. So after we build the service and the interface is available, then we deploy to make it available inside the Tomcat tool. Okay, seems deploy. Started service. It started. Then we try to fix the controller to get reservation by age, where the age I want to set as 32. So this is later if we want to create a simple search, we can just create the UI and pass the value 32 like what we pass the form, and from the controller we get the value and we put as parameter. And from this point, now we deploy the MVC. Okay, available. We try to refresh. So now all the result will be the one which age is 32. And if we check the log, the log, they are going to the correct path. So from the render page, they go to local service IMPL, where the query for custom finder is working. So I think that's all most important things for the Portlet development, starting for the UI, how we navigate from one screen to another screen, how we store into database, and how we display the default CRUD value, and then how we use the custom finder. For other CRUD, I think it's quite easy. For example, if you want to delete, by default, they have out of the box function, just delete reservation with the parameter ID. Or for example, to have delete, update, create and update, we have demo it. For delete, for example, we can just use this thing. If we use this function and we pass the ID, then supposedly it will be deleted. So CRUD is quite simple. The second thing that is important is actually whenever we want to modify service layer, this service layer, we need to make sure that we put everything inside. We put everything inside the IMPL class. Never put the code outside of IMPL, because Liferay will replace everything out of IMPL. So this is our custom code, and beside the IMPL is actually like base IMPL also. We never touch it also. the one that we really need to touch usually only service MPL or remote service MPL. This one only. The others will be auto generated by Liferay. So actually, after we share on how to develop a Portlet in Liferay, actually the job for developers is quite easy, since we don't need to put our codes for the whole Java tier class. We just need on the certain place only. But the one that we need to understand is that we need to make sure that we have the same understanding on, for example, how the view, the JSP, and the controller are tied together, how they related each other, from controller to service, how they build the connection, and how to customize anything inside the service. If we have understanding about the whole flow, actually we can build any function within Liferay Portlet. For your reference, that actually internally we develop Liferay Portlet not only for widget or website simple module, but also for ERP modules. It's quite complicated modules. They have a lot of form, they have a lot of function, and they apply a lot of workflow. And so far, we still able to deliver it whatever the requirement provided by customer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you saw the banner, right?
Yeah.
With the search inside, right?
Yeah.
So how do we go about with this custom portlet? We have to use this custom portlet, right?
I think you don't need to use the custom portlet.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Because the search portlet is not a simple portlet. I mean, actually the search itself is simple, but the process behind the search is a little bit complicated.
Okay.
I will try to show you the portlet. And
Using OOTB, is it? OOTB instead, is it?
the search portlet is actually, they try to query not into the database.
Okay.
They search directly into the Elasticsearch, the indexer. And if we take a look, the codes is a little bit complicated lah. I have.
Let's say it tries to search for based on articles or news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those kind.
That's actually, we can use the same search bar in. Okay. Yeah, we have this search bar. This is actually exactly the Portlet search, and this Portlet can search almost anything.
Okay.
Anything inside Liferay, like news, article, content file, we can directly search from here.
Okay.
So for your reference, let me connect to the internet. I think the connection is dropped. Okay, I need to ask the password. Yeah, it's not auto pop-up. Check about this search portlet. It's actually search bar. It's out of the box. Liferay modules search bar, and we also use the same portlet for some of our live project, like what we showed you yesterday. And at this point, we don't modify the modules at all. We just modify the look and feel, the UI. So how we modify the look and feel? We just need to understand this class, what kind of class that available here. Then we modify it. And yeah, at the end we will have like different looks and feel of the search, but if you ask me, the what's called, the function will be still similar.
Okay.
And later we try to help you to find where is the search modules located. Let me try to find. Web. Let's try to find inside Liferay search web. This is my So this is the search web inside Liferay. They use the 3.0.8 search web, and if you refer to the codes, they have quite a lot of class. So inside this search web, you can see there are a lot of class here. So if you plan to build your own, I think it will be a little bit it's not easy lah. It's not easy since they have a lot. This is inside the search web, the search web, the portlet that available in the top within a single input.
Okay.
So
if the best way to implement the search in the banner is to use the existing one.
yeah,
So
for example, actually we use exactly the same search, the same search portlet, but we modify the UI, so it doesn't look like the default one. If we use this search, for example, I want to search about BRI, then they will have all the result from.
So this search page you create your by template, or Liferay creates that page?
For the result, we customize it. We hook.
Hook.
We
So
hook.
how do we do that?
How do we hook? We will discuss after this.
Okay. So this is actually a normal page, right?
Uh, it's
Yeah.
actually
No, no.
not the normal page. It's the normal page. Then we put the search result in there.
Inside it.
Search result in this page. But then we modify the search display. So we just modify the GSP. The content we still use the old one.
So when you create this page, you have to go through the normal add page. Will it appear on the menu? Or you have to put this under private? Or what?
If we put under private, then
It
we
will
need
show,
to
right?
it would show. So
But
usually
then how do we know? Let it appear in the menu?
yeah, there is a way
Okay.
actually to make it this menu available on the I think local will be faster. Okay, actually we have only welcome and registration, right?
Yeah.
But if we log in and you check on the page, there is the third one, search. So why this never appear on the menu? Because they hide it. Where is the general? Can it change? Oh, sorry, it's a little bit different in here. Let we open the normal one because the search is out from Liferay. Create headphones. This 7.1 is a little bit different compared to 7.0. I mean in 7.0 actually they make it
So they
from
put it
here.
here lah, so they can actually remove. Okay.
Actually, for example, page,
Okay.
if we
It's there.
if I
Okay.
put this one, then available. But in 7.0, it's a little bit different. In 7.0, whenever we add on every page, there is option whether we need to display or not. So have a one selector display or not. As simple as like that.
Okay, so 7.1 actually break it up.
Yeah. They redesign it. I don't know what's the purpose, but it's like the goal is still same maybe, but the way we go there is a little bit different. I still don't understand why they have so many.
Like that, I'm a bit afraid for the next change, minor change can be this way. Imagine 8.0.
8.0 will be much more different.
Okay, so
That's
we
why-
cannot simply just migrate lah.
Cannot because every single major release is like a brand new
Major revamp again.
Yeah, major revamp.
I see. Wow.
That's why many customers actually, as long as they don't see any limitation, until today still have many customers that still use like 6.0, 6.2 because on their point of view, yeah, so far it's okay, running well. We don't need to upgrade yet, since when we do upgrade, actually we need to allocate quite a lot of resources. Since I don't say that migration is like 100% redevelop, is no, but at least there's some effort that we need to convert the code.
Okay.
And also the UI. If we take a look back inside the backend technology, also every major release they adopt latest new technology, and maybe the reason why Liferay seems like too fast to upgrade their product, we need to understand also that behind Liferay, other technology is also evolved so fast. So if Liferay don't follow, then they will be left.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit something like that. For example, Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch actually they just become famous like few years back, but during like these 2 years they keep increasing so fast, which if Liferay don't follow, then yeah, they cannot adopt the new feature offered by new Elasticsearch, a little bit something like that lah.
Okay.
Another platform also similar,
Okay.
and yeah, it's for us as a developer, it become a little bit headache because I don't finish learn this thing, then they come the new thing.
Okay.
So yeah. We can go to the search now and take a look. So this is the search bar, search option. This is sample search from new Liferay because old Liferay only have a one. Let's try. So when we do search about Liferay, then we will have many result based on category. The category inside Liferay called facet. So inside the facet actually there are a lot of facet. Whether we want to search on the user, article, document, blog, this is all the facet. So by default, Liferay will try to search anything inside wiki, document. Document is not only the title but also the content. User, blog, form, document folder, almost everything inside the default Liferay.
Okay.
They do search. So that's why the reasons that build your own search function will be a little bit difficult, or from my point of view, it will be nightmare.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of things need to be searched, and the good thing is actually the search function is already there. Why you need to build your own search?
Yeah.
Actually, the one that you need is actually you just need to modify the looks and maybe to filter some record. For example, we don't need to search the user while for example, why we display the user inside these things. For example, why when I search Liferay, this user appear because this user have email within Liferay, test@liferay.com, something like that. But on some point, sometimes on our search, we just need to configure certain facet. Then scope this side, destination, yeah, it's different. So yeah, the new one is different. So maybe I just share the 7.0 one. In 7.0, actually in the search bar we can modify the search based on certain facet. Current, for example, can we try to remove user? Okay, I remove user here. If we want to search based on document and maybe the article folder, okay, so I take out the others, then they will only search within document and article. Then I save. Supposedly with this action, when I do search using Liferay key, there is no more user appear here, since I take out from the search query. Yeah, this is correct, because the facet we don't set user. So to test it more, we may need to have some sample document and content. Yesterday I used the HSQL, so it's not stored in database. So basically as far as I understand, the search function is already there.
Okay.
Whatever you need is actually to modify a little bit on the UI side. The UI inside Liferay, usually their code is not so clean. I mean, they sometimes still use the scriptlet. So, but the things that sometimes we need to find where is actually the view for this particular things. That's sometimes become since Liferay have 1,000 of file, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to find exactly where is the search module. Apps, document library is there, Liferay is there, Liferay portal search, Liferay portal search web. Now we have even the GSP, they have a lot of GSP. So let's take a look the main one. Usually the main will be view the GSP. So this is the Liferay search. Usually they include many others GSP. On click search when then they display everything here. Beside this GSP, on the left side, previously we see facet, right? And this is the facet. So to be able to modify the screen, you need to understand this thing first. And now we have we already found the search portlet. It will be the search web and the GSP itself. And yes, we understand that if you want to modify this thing, there is no other way unless you try to understand whatever available here first. So this is the mechanism of the hooking portlet, how to hook Liferay.
Okay.
So I think for the search, I leave it to you. I mean, we have shown it to you where is the portlet and
How do you change the UI actually?
yeah, how do you change the UI? We would not able to modify the search because it's too complicated.
Yeah.
So we will show the simple one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe let's go that way.
Okay, actually, to modify the default view, actually we can use what we call it Liferay hook. Let's try to open the Google share. Okay. Let's install. Need to uninstall. That exception. Okay. Here in for Liferay hooks, is usually we create under the same module, but this is not the portlet. For example, initially we prepare some fragment, and if we refer to this fragment, the only things that's available here is actually only to modify the login, the GSP. So how to make these things, we may need to check the login first. So this is the default login screen. There's only email address, password, and button. We will try to modify this screen. Okay, how to modify this screen? The first thing, we need to find out what is the current version running on Liferay for login. The login will be login web. As what we explained previously, any UI, usually inside Liferay, they have the naming convention will be web. For service, there will be service. For API, will be service API. So this is the login web version 3.0.4. So how we create the hook? If we refer from the initial, okay, if we refer from the previous version of Liferay, this one we have demo it previously. Now we go for the hook. Edit view. This is what we have done. Service builder also we have done. CRUD standard we have done. Now we move to the Google Shell and JSP hooks. Google Shell, I think we have tried a few times, and now we understand how to find. For example, LB used to list all, and then we can start and stop using the ID, and then we also able to find certain modules like LB login. Then we can see Liferay login web version 1.1.3 at that time. Then if we want to check the details, we use the B, then the ID. B204, we will see like com Liferay login web. This is the group name, and this is the version. To be able to hook, we need exactly to match the fragment with this one. Means when we want to override, we need to make sure that we override exactly the modules with the correct version. Otherwise, our hook will not work. Okay, so this is what we will do. Previously we can use blade command from command prompt, but I try using Liferay 7.1. It's not working anymore, the blade, so we use the IDE. What is called modify login MVC Portlet. We use the MVC Portlet first, then later we delete the one that not related now.
So right now you're showing me how to use hook, is it?
Yeah. Supposedly, if we refer to the previous version of like
but this hook is, we are going to use it for the search or what?
login.
For the login?
Yeah.
Not for the search lah. The search you just stay with the UI only, right?
Yeah, but the UI for the search is, I have shown to you. The UI for the search, they have a lot of JSP. So before you be able to modify, you need to understand first how the structure of this screen. Okay. And this takes some time for every developer to learn before you able to hook. So on this hook, we give you sample, exactly the idea is the same, to modify the default one to become a custom one.
For the search lah, you're talking about? Oh,
Login lah.
For login lah.
Login.
Oh, login.
Because if you ask the search one,
It's a lot.
we would not able to deliver within a single day.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you were to do the just to change the search UI, it takes some time, is it?
Yeah, because before you able to change that, you know what I mean, right? If we don't know the GSP structure, then we might modify one GSP, but this GSP never been called. So at the end, why not reflect into my screen, something like that.
Okay.
And this is this one that actually we try to learn from the simple one lah.
Okay.
If we can deliver the simple one, then the advanced one will be much more easier.
Okay.
And yeah, to be honest, the hope it will be the most complex things inside Liferay. I think the Portlet is quite easy to understand. Service builder, yeah, mostly we can understand.
Okay.
The hook, you need to do a double job. Before you be able to hook, you need to understand what the things you want to hook. After that, after you understand, then how to make it become another thing. Of course, if you refer to other platform, maybe you just find the code, you debug in there, you change directly. It will be work, because that's also what I do like few years back before I understand what Liferay. But then the problem will happen if you want to update the patch. Sometimes the patch will not be able to update your codes since your core of Liferay already break.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we are doing now is a hook.
The hook for GSP.
GSP, okay.
Yeah.
Will it get override by Liferay patch or updates?
It will be override if Liferay release the new version. It seems something like this. Okay, we will back the idea.
Okay.
Okay, the idea is something like this. Where is the Google shelter? Okay. Login. Execute. Okay. From this point, we understand that at this moment, the login web which running inside this Liferay is version 3.0.4. Right. So at this moment, there is a login portlet with version is 3.0.4. Then, if you want to modify these things, we will do the things called hook. This hook must attach to this version, because we cannot create hook without exactly set which version.
Okay.
Okay, then I have my own JSP here to override this thing.
Okay.
And your question, what happened if Liferay, if we do patch to this Liferay? Yeah, then it depends. If Liferay don't override this version, then your hook will still working.
Okay.
Because on every patch mechanism, usually Liferay will not upgrade everything. It depends on the items that they upgrade, and actually they put some release note. When we do release this patch, actually this patch will update this module, this module, this module. Let's say we have a worst case scenario that Liferay update this version into 3.0.5, for example. Then, of course, your hook will not work anymore. And to make it work, you need to create new one with actually GSP, which we address to override this thing. And that's, yeah. So far, that's the only way we can do for the, for example, if you talk about the search module is not a simple one, since they will create a lot of things. But if you want to simplify, for example, if you want to create the inside the search, there are a lot of modules: user, journal article or web article, web content, DMS. If you want to exactly create a custom portlet with only query into web content may be a little bit easier, but then you need to understand the search first before you're able to create the new one.
Okay.
Yeah, and how to create the new one is actually like what we have demoed previously, how to create the FPC portlet. But at this point, we try to demo it how to do the hook. Actually, we modify something, but with attaching to the main class.
Okay.
My custom login. So if you refer to this sample hook, actually the one that important here, there is no Java class, there is no language, it's just only the option that we override. Is the login. With Gradle, nothing, since they don't need to be a module, it's just a fragment. But the one important is for the bind. So inside the bind, we need to register who is the host. I mean, we want to hook what we want to hook with this fragment. This information is actually available from the LB, Liferay login web. Okay, 432. Then we do 432. Sorry, LB. So it will be com Liferay login web. Then on our code, it will be com Liferay login web. The bundle version, we should follow the default one, 304. Okay, save. After we save, then you maybe have a question how we can get this login. Actually, we do exactly like what we just now try to find search. We find directly from the source code where the login available. Sorry, this one. Login.jsp. So this is what we want to modify. So we copy the login with JSP and we put exactly on the same path. Resources, meta, resources, login. The path and the file must be exactly the same. So here's what we put on the login. We can replace with the original first. And if we take a look at the design, it will be have the sign in, email address, password button. But actually inside the login itself, the code is not as simple as what it's appear in the screen. So there are a lot of validation, error message. So we need to find out where is actually the input for password and input for ID or email login. So this is the input and this is the button, sign in. The below one, it will be navigation. The JSP is another JSP. Okay. So here we try to modify. We put some text here. Okay, we modify. When we do hook, all your codes will be, it look like error, because they will not be able to get the correct dependency.
Okay.
Since we only have only one file, right? We just want to modify this thing.
Yeah.
And we can ignore it. It's only for hook. When we do development for Portlet, we should not have any issue. If we have this compilation errors, mean it's really error. But in hook, yeah, we need to understand that when we try to modify, we need to make sure that our modification is not causing any compilation error or any syntax error, because there is no way for IDE to check. It's impossible for IDE to check.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why a hook is actually is a little bit on the advanced material. Okay, now
So we just ignore the errors, is it?
only for hook.
For hook only lah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and don't create codes that causing more error. So it's
But there's
a little
no way
bit tricky.
of compiling it lah.
There is no way to
way.
compile it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the best to play with hook is just the UI only lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes we can do hook on the action also. The service also can be hooked. But the thing is that that's the tricky one.
Oh.
We need to make sure that it's not. Or sometimes we do the other way. So we change on the source code itself. This one is actually able to be compiled since they have the full package.
But every time there's a patch, you will override.
Yeah. So how we do hook? Actually, we put the source code into sometimes like repository. Then when we do hook, we change directly on the screen first, because it's easier for us to check whether it causing any compilation error or not, right?
Yep.
When we finish modifying from this page, then we copy into our hook. So we don't code into our hook, since our hook they cannot compile.
Okay. Understand.
Yeah, that's why it's a little bit tricky.
Okay. Okay.
So-
Before you continue, how do you create the hook again? A bit
Okay,
too far.
okay. We create another hook. This one, modify login.
Okay.
So we create the same Portlet MVC, but then we delete everything. It's the tricky one, because the fragment is not work anymore. So we delete this one. We delete. We leave it only resource. We don't need this one also.
We don't need the files, but we need the folders, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
the structure, because before we have this structure, we need to check the original one. This login.dsp is actually located under this one, meta in resources login, or resources meta in. We need to focus on this thing lah, meta in
Okay.
resources login. Then our hook must be located on the same path, meta in resources login, or in this case same thing, meta in resources login, right?
Okay.
Okay, this one don't have, this one don't have. Then Gradle, we don't need everything here. See, the bind, yeah, this one we need to change into fragment. So bundle is the name of our module. We need to change with the fragment. This fragment is actually a constant from Liferay to be what it called identify as a hook.
Okay.
So this looks like we want to modify com this package, this version with the resource inside what we put it here. So we just modify login, we put it here. So now we have a login, and our login we put some text here only to make it bigger. Okay, we have everything seems okay. Then we deploy standard modify login, create, deploy. So this is started. Call Liferay login web version 3.0.4. It seems like okay. We need to check inside the Google shell. Maybe login. So our login is already deployed with state resource. So how we can check? Yeah, we check whether we're able to modify or not. Yeah. It's already hooked.
Okay.
So the one that you must understand is actually the concept. After we understand the concept, then the implementation depends on how complex the module. I don't say that every Liferay module will be complicated, but especially for the one that you asked such complicated, why we can have that conclusion? Because we have done it before.
Okay.
And it's not easy.
Okay.
You know the one that I showed you previously, right?
Yeah,
the BNI.
Yeah. How long it took you to do it? How long it took you to customize the search?
We have like 2 developers, and it's more than 1 week or 2 weeks.
Oh.
Because actually you okay, after you know the concept, right?
Yeah.
Now you have the idea to modify. For example, you have a car, you want to change the tire, right? You must understand how many bolts are inside your tire, what is the diameter of your tire. Otherwise, how can you change? So before you able to modify whatever inside there, you need to understand, is it easy to modify or not? If, for example, let's say, wow, it's too complicated to modify, then maybe the better way, okay, we create our own version, but with more limited feature. Because if you refer to the Liferay one, the search function, they have a lot of function there. They will search either user, blog, wiki. This is actually, do we need to search wiki? My question is that, do your customer using wiki? If they never use wiki, why we should put ourselves in trouble by understand the wiki code, something like that.
Okay.
Because by default the search is the global this one, for example, portal search. Let's open again the portal search modules and foundation portal search. If we talk about this, okay, it's quite a lot of class here. This is for the UI only, the web. So I think for the API and the rest of the service, you can use whatever provided by Liferay because it's really complete. It's already completed lah. But the things that sometimes the user doesn't like the way Liferay display the information. So
Okay.
we may need to modify the UI only. But the problem is that the UI in the search is also not simple. As what we can count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, more than 20 GSP for the search. And we need to find out which actually the main GSP.
Okay. So in order to hook the search, we just choose one, in other words.
Yeah,
Choose
yeah.
one, then
Choose one, but how you choose it, whether it is correct or not.
then after that you put it in the normal module,
Uh,
right? You just like you did for login lah.
yeah, yeah. So
Actually, you are reverse engineering whatever is there lah.
yeah.
Okay.
But again, yeah, as far as my understanding and my experience is the most complex thing in Liferay lah. Other than that, it's actually quite straightforward. Creating MVC is just templating. Portlet is like whatever framework we use, either PHP. PHP maybe a little bit simple because they don't have like tire application. But .NET I think is close like what the Java have, right? This is the front layer or web tire, service tire, persistent tire. Yeah, mostly it's similar.
Yeah.
But this hook, some things, actually if we don't care about updating into a new patch, okay, let's hit directly in the code,
Okay.
it works.
Okay. Okay.
But then maybe the concern that, yeah, as long as you don't need to update the patch, it's okay lah.
Okay. Okay. The patch is manual, right?
Manual,
Okay.
manual. It's not automatically.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have to remind the client not to simply upgrade or patch.
Yeah, and that's also true. Because if the client doesn't understand the patch from Liferay, maybe they don't require it. For example, if you follow the Liferay patch, I can tell you, maybe Liferay release patch every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. But the thing is that, do you need that patch? I don't think so, because the most important patch from Liferay is actually their security patch. Liferay provides security patch is not so frequent. I think another project from Jakarta last year, we do patch only twice for the full years. So it's around like 4 up to 6 months we have one patch for security. Other than security patch, usually, yeah, if we talk about we develop application is already live, means the user already tested lah, and after the user tested means no more issue lah. If we don't have issue, why do we need to patch? Because if we do patch, at the end, there is one small probability that maybe your function that previously worked become not working, and you need to test, right? Do you have time to test?
Yeah.
And the other things that Liferay patch, they release quite. Okay, I can show it to you. They release the patch sometimes every week, sometimes 2 weeks, because the patch actually depends on the customer request. And Liferay have like more than 100 modules. So for example, my project today, I create the social media, and I found the issue within the social media portlet. I report to Liferay, and Liferay, oh, okay, it's a confirmed bug, so we will fix it. When they fix, they release patch. The question is that whether Ian also need the social media. You just need to check on their side lah. If they don't need this thing, no need to update the patch. But for security patch, usually it's mandatory, because otherwise the IT security will be punish us if we don't apply the security patch.
Okay.
This is the take a look at the patch. Let's see whether the 7.1 already have patch or not. Usually for new product release, the patch is quite often, since many developers start found the problem, then Liferay start producing the patch. Like 7.0, I think is already like 50 more patch for the whole 1.5 year. But so far we don't apply all the patch. Patching tools. Where is the patching tools? It's not. We don't have the patch yet. This this is the matrix diagram from 7.0, 7.1, service pack 1 until now service pack 8. The number of patch initially service pack SP1 have 7 patch, SP2 means from patch number 8 to number 12. The latest one, SPH, actually starting from patch number 50.
Okay.
And 7.1, I think they don't have patch yet. Means, yeah, I'm just afraid no one use it already.
Okay.
I think, yeah, if your customer already buy the enterprise, it's highly recommend to create the LESA as soon as possible whenever you found the issue, if they still insisting to use 7.1 lah.
Okay.
Because I don't think, even if we try to googling, maybe it's a little bit hard to find the article, since who will create the article? Even for us who have delivered Liferay before, we also found some things that some new feature that we don't know yet how to use it. Supposedly they can create a ticket. I think for the material, mostly we have shared what's the important things about Liferay, out of the book modules, and together with how to customize. The main idea for the fundamental training will be the basic idea. When we have a basic idea, hopefully you will be much more focused on the things that you try to achieve. It's not just brute force. One block say A, another block say B, then you confused.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully you will get much more easy in the either understanding Liferay or deliver any project within Liferay. So for your reference, maybe we will share with you the standard sample portlet from Liferay, like search portlet. Actually they have, and this is the UI, a simple UI. So you may, if you want to create your own web, it's maybe easier if you go from this point. But this is 7.0, so
7.0 we can't use it on 7.1.
cannot lah.
It's different.
Different. Yeah. And this is actually from Liferay also. So, and if you compare, it's actually much more simple, right?
Yeah.
They have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5 lah, compared to our own.
Became more complicated.
More complicated.
Yeah.
That's true.
We take a 5 minutes break. Try to ask Halim if he has any questions.
Tea break. Maybe the next session will be more on